What's good YouTube, Ben here, welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you my next Steel Path viable build. This one's for Cyte-09. Let's get into this. Don't worry, in this video I'll also cover the Exalted Weapon Neutralizer as well. But Cyte-09, let's quickly go over his abilities. So it's passive, weak point kills increase Cyte-09's weak point critical chance by 1% up to the 300% for the duration of the current mission. So it will do a permanent increase of the critical chance during each mission, providing you hit weak points. Gloom, which I've replaced his first ability with, summons a radial pulse wave that ensnares and slows enemies, siphoning life force for the death well. Allies within the wave steal health while with each attack. So it's life steal, but also slows down enemies, which is also really handy to have. Its second ability is resupply, so this is the best ability for him. Throw 2 elemental ammo packs that instantly refill the active weapons magazine while granting the weapon an additional instance of the selected elemental damage and status effect. Reload clears the effect, sniper rifles gain extra damage. So if you hold the ability, it allows you to select what ammo type you want. Rather, what elemental damage type you want for your ammo. Third ability is evade. Jump backwards and become invisible for a short duration. Killing enemies on their weak points extends the duration and heal Cyte-09. So we have 2 healing abilities, but I'm not keeping this on here for the healing aspect. It's for the invisibility, which can be useful to get you out of a tight spot because Cyte-09 is more of a glass cannon. He can deal damage, but he can't take too many hits. And finally, his ultimate ability, which is neutralize, summons the neutralizer, Cyte-09's exalted sniper rifle, bullets ricochet off weak points to seek out other nearby weak points, alt fire lobs a cold grenade that completely freezes enemies. So let's quickly go over the build for Cyte-09 and then we'll go over neutralizer. So in the aura slot, I've got growing power on status effect with weapon. Squad increases personal ability strength for 25% for 6 seconds. In the excellent slot, we've got power drift, 15% ability strength and plus 30% to chance to resist knockdowns, which is great because we're using Warframe for this. I'll explain why when we get into the mission. If you do have Prime Sure-Footed and you're using a weapon like Warframe, I would highly recommend use Prime Sure-Footed instead of this. I do not currently own it, so. We've got Vitality for 100% health. Hunter Adrenaline, convert 45% of damage and health to energy without shields. Ally Overguard imitates health. We've got Prime Continuity for 55% ability duration. Prime Flow for 185% energy max. We've got Adaptation when damaged plus 10% resistance to that damage for 20 seconds stacks up to 90%. Blind Rage for 99% ability strength and 55% negative 55% ability efficiency. Streamline for 30% ability efficiency. And Augur Secrets for 24% ability strength. 40% of energy spent on abilities is converted to the shields. And in Arcanes, we're running Arcane Energize rank 2. Of course, if you have this higher, I'd recommend running it. Or even if you've got a base one, it still helps. And then Arcane Nullifier, which at rank 4, plus 85% chance to resist a magnetic status effect. So we've got 155% duration, 75% efficiency, 100% range, and 238% strength. Quickly going over Neutralizer. Its unique trait, so alternate fire launches a freezing grenade that will completely freeze enemies with cold status effect and leave a freezing zone that will continue to apply cold status for 5 seconds. So it completely freezes enemies, which is great. Running Serration for 150% damage. Galvanized Chamber for 80% multi-shot and on-kill, plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. Critical Delay for 200% critical chance, negative 20% fire rate. Vital Sense for 120% critical damage. Hammer Shot for 60% critical damage and 80% status chance. Hunter Munitions for 30% chance to apply slash procs on critical. Malignant Force for 60% toxin and 60% status chance, and round rounds for 60% cold and 60% status chance. So we're running 135% critical chance, which is guaranteed critical hits, as well as 8.4 times on the critical multiplier, so it hits really hard. And then we're running viral as the main element on it. But without any further ado, let's jump into the mission. I'll show you what this thing can do. Alright, as per usual, we're Oxymoko in the Void, and I'll quickly explain why we're here. So the Void deals with some of the highest level enemies on the Steel Path, but you're also dealing with the Corrupted, and with the Corrupted, you're dealing with enemies with just health, enemies with health and shields, and enemies with health, shields, and high armor, giving you a more varied example of what your weapon/warframe can do. With Warframe, so the reason why I've brought it is because about 2 years ago, they did an update where weapons like Warframe, Kuvazar, Tenet Envoy, you can't get ammo for them very easily. In fact, you're limited to 6, and then ammo drops are quite rare, because everyone was abusing Warframe because it is just a really strong weapon. But with Cyte's ability to resupply, for example, if I shoot a bullet and then resupply, it instantly refills it. So you can now use Warframe as much as you want. But let's jump into the actual mission. I'm going to use Neutralizer for a little bit so you can see what kind of damage you can expect from it. And then we'll crack on with using Kuvabramma, because that's why I'm using Cyte right now. Of course, if you zoom in, you'll also get a lot more damage with weak point hits. There we go. Now, of course, you can't put any, like, primary arcanes on this thing, unfortunately, because it is an exalted weapon, so it doesn't work like that, which is a bit of a pain, but at the same time, it kind of is what it is. Just remember as well, because it is an exalted weapon, you're going to energy drain as much as you use ammo. So the more ammo you use, the higher energy drain you're going to get. But of course, if you hit weak point shots, you're going to boost your critical chance for the rest of the mission, which is completely ideal. And of course, like I said, the more you zoom in, the more critical damage you're going to get. So of course, I would recommend at least using this a little bit to get some critical shots. Or weak point shots so you can get higher critical chance throughout the entire mission. Now, of course, with enemies being hit by gloom, they are going to be slowed. And you're going to get healing, which is great. But you are going to drain energy if you use this weapon the entire mission. So feel free to not use it as much as I am if you're not confident about getting energy back. Of course, if you have higher levels of Arcane Energize, you'll get a lot more energy a lot faster. There we go. So we've used this enough. I'm now going to switch back to Kuvabramma. Rather, cancel ability. There we go. So now we're going to use Kuvabramma to get the rest of our shots off. And pretty much as you'll see, it starts to absolutely nuke, because that's what Kuvabramma does. It just hits hard, it hits quickly, and it deals an absolute buttload of damage once you've started proccing your Arcanes. Of course, not with cold element, it really doesn't, but electric element's a bit better. There we go. Because I've not gotten any of my Arcanes activated yet. There we go. Now we started to get them activated. There we go. It's a bit annoying because I need to group up a few enemies in order to get it to proc correctly. Now, unfortunately, because it is based upon ammo, it does not count towards melee weapons or anything. However, let's say, for example, you know, I want to use Atomos. It just adds the elements to my Atomos. I want to add, I don't know, magnetic. There we go. Magnetic added. And now your build for your weapons is going to be a lot stronger because of adding in more status. Ow. Of course, if you have Prime Sure Footage, you're not going to get knocked down at all. Let's add heat. There we go. Now there's a group of enemies I can actually do something. There we go. All I have to do is just reuse heat. There we go. If you hold the ability, it allows you to select what damage type you want, which is great. Right, hang on. I need to move before I die. Oh, gosh. There we go. The only issue I do have with Cyte is that he's a very squishy frame. So he will take a lot of damage if you are not fast on your movements. Go. And of course I can just run back over because it does drop more ammo. Pick it up. You can either keep activating the ability or you can do that. We can also go invisible as well for a short time, which means we can just deal a bunch of damage and then not worry about enemies for a little bit. And we're already coming across the Acolyte, which is kind of nice, I'm not going to lie. For anyone wondering how well this weapon does, I will quickly show you. So if you want to go to the Acolyte, quickly start popping him. Shields are already gone, and then you can just start melting him away. Boom, there we go. That takes care of the Acolyte. So with that weapon, Acolytes fall pretty darn fast, so you don't have to worry about that either. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget you can support the channel completely free just by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps that YouTube algorithm. Don't forget you can also support the channel even further by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and over on Twitch. My streams here on YouTube are in the shorts form feed, some more for mobile. If you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, then feel free to join me on Twitch. That link is in the description below.